What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here, and we are back with another 2 minute drill. March 10th. It's a Wednesday, man. It's that hump day, almost to the end of the week, man, almost to the weekend. So, y'all hang in there. Luckily, y'all are going to spend some time with me right here on the 2 minute drill, catching up with all things college football. So, before we start, let me go ahead and say, go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel right now as you're listening. That way, you don't miss anything we're doing, and hit that notification bell at the top. That way, you know anytime we drop any sort of college football content. And guys, let's go ahead and get started here. And it comes from Michigan. I feel like we spend a lot of time in Ann Arbor, and Michigan AD Warde Manuel was reported by ESPN to say that he has not given and will not give Jim Harbaugh a win ultimatum for the 2021 season right now and moving forward. He pointed to the length and structure of Harbaugh's contract and stated that nobody in the building wanted to win more than Harbaugh does. Harbaugh's under contract till 2025 and is making a total of $4 million this year. He kind of took a pay cut when they reworked his contract to give him the extension, which I think is one of the craziest extensions of the offseason of any coach that got an extension I guess in recent memory. But just to recap, Michigan has not won the Big Ten championship since 2004, still has never appeared in a Big Ten championship game. Harbaugh has not produced in Ann Arbor, not up to the standard that was set by him at previous stops, the media, AD, anything. He had a losing season last year. He's on a four consecutive bowl game losing streak, and he still hasn't beat Ohio State. I don't know what else y'all want me to tell y'all. Those are three things that are not acceptable in terms of what we expect from Michigan head coaches. And every year but one, Harbaugh and the Wolverines have finished third or worse in the division, and this year tied for fifth and struggled with teams like Rutgers and, just a bunch of schools that they should have beat. They got blown out by Wisconsin. They didn't even look like they belonged on the same classification. They look like a D2 team out there against Wisconsin. I mean, they looked horrible against the best teams. They lucked out, missed the beating they were going to get from Ohio State this year. So the reason this storyline made is I think it's just kind of outrageous that we've gotten to this point. So the Michigan AD is brought in. He's brought in to kind of improve Michigan's culture, their winning, their football program, and you're not going to give your coach a win ultimatum, a win quota, anything like that. If you're Michigan, you expect national championships. You expect Big Ten championships. You expect to be competitive in every single game on your schedule, including the Ohio State game. They have not been that. And because of that, guys, I am just mind blown that this came out of someone's mouth. And this mindset is why Michigan will continue to be the mediocre gatekeepers of the Big Ten. I said it. They will never compete with the top dogs right now. Not Ohio State, not Wisconsin. Probably, they beat Minnesota last year, but I would argue that Minnesota program's on a higher trajectory. They're not better than Iowa. They're not better than Indiana right now. And they're so lucky that Michigan State was in the dumpster. And right now, Michigan State might be better than them next year. So they're going to be the gatekeepers. So what I mean by that, like I said, they won't compete with the top dogs, but they'll keep the bottom feeders at the bottom for the time being until they pass on someone like Indiana and Minnesota who came out of nowhere. And you might be asking, when is Michigan going to return to national prominence? I'm assuming when the fans, the upper management, and the media start holding Harbaugh accountable for underachieving. They keep giving him passes. They keep handing him excuses. They said he needs a few years to recruit. He has to rebuild this program from the ground up. I mean, he's had plenty of time to do that. So let him get his recruiting going. He's got that, and, his recruiting dips and dives way below where it should be. So let him develop his players, get his scheme in there, find his offensive coordinator. Well, Josh Gaddis is here, and it's time to get going. And then you say, let him get his quarterback, let him get this quarterback, that quarterback. Well, we've already talked about on the 2 minute drill, one of our first episodes. Go ahead and go check that video out next. We've already broken down how bad he's been at quarterbacks. The only quarterback that has really done anything that he's recruited is Cade McNamara, and he started 4 games this year. Every other quarterback he's had to go out and get a transfer, and all of them have pretty much regressed under Harbaugh. Harbaugh has underachieved. I don't care about the name recognition. I don't care about who he is or what he accomplished at Stanford, the 49ers, anything like that. He has underachieved at Michigan. He did not deserve an extension. And yes, I get the argument of where do you go from here, but I think Michigan would be in the running for any coach in the country, and you have to move on from Jim Harbaugh now. And the fact that there are no win expectations set on Harbaugh is ridiculous. You should be winning no less than 8 games a year when you are the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. It's the same reason Brady Hoke didn't work out. It's the same reason why it's a long line of coaches that haven't worked out in a long time for Michigan. And Harbaugh is the next one there. He needs to get to 8-9 wins a year minimum, and he has to beat Ohio State and be back in the national spotlight with this program. And, to move on here, man, we have another transfer. We're going to keep all updated on all things transfer portal, all things recruiting. Derion Kendrick transferring from Clemson, man. Clemson was supposed to return all of its starters, all 11, with some even players who started a game or two here. So they're returning like 16 deep on this defense. Now multiple players have decided to transfer out from the program. I mean, that includes Mike Jones Jr., who's a monster. Now Kendrick is a senior DB for the Tigers. He had a string of discipline issues that kept him out of a few games. He started 8 of the 9 games he played. He missed 3 games, whether that be for injury, discipline issues, it's up for debate. But Dabo, after the Pitt game, which is one of the games Kendrick didn't play in, he said, quote, "Some people might say he's in the doghouse. I'd like to say he's in the love shack. Just a little bit of discipline." When that's coming from your head coach, it's not probably a great look, I would say, especially for a first-team All-ACC cornerback this season. He was top 10 in interceptions in 2019. He's a former 5-star recruit. He switched to defense after his freshman year when he was a wide receiver. 63 total tackles, 4 for loss, 3 INTs, a touchdown, 11 pass breakups, a forced fumble. He's 6 foot, about 200 pounds, and has the athleticism, the athletic ability, everything to be a shutdown corner no matter where he goes. SEC, ACC, Pac-12, Big 12, Big 10, doesn't matter. He's going to be a star wherever he goes, going to be an immediate contributor. And so you might be wondering, man, so one, I want to take this first approach, and then we'll go into where he might be considering going. You have to look at Dabo right now, right? He doesn't believe in the transfer portal, and he prides himself on not being a factory like Nick Saban. Well, now you're losing people when it's a promising year. What is going on? Brent Venables has been there. He's done a really good job of having players come back when they have first-round talent grades and things like that. So what is going on at Clemson where we've seen 2 very, very talented big contributors lead this defense all of a sudden? I don't think it's just people coming up behind them that they don't think they can beat out for a starting job. I think there's something to all the drama that happened in the spring, Dabo's perception. So I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think there's something underlying in Clemson here. So there are 2 very big players to be losing in the offseason. And in terms of schools identified to maybe be in the running for Kendrick's talents, the number 1 and number 2, probably 1A, 1B, would be Georgia and Florida, SEC East rivals, 2 very active teams in the transfer portal who both have a huge need for a true shutdown corner. Florida's defense, absolutely abysmal at times last season, and probably was the main reason they weren't a true, I guess, college football playoff contender, a true SEC title contender. Yes, they made it to the championship, but did anyone realistically expect them to beat Alabama? They need a true number 1 DB. Kendrick would step in and immediately give that. And so this is a big one. And then Georgia lost all 3 starting DBs to either transfers or the NFL draft. And this conference, this goes for Georgia and Florida, has some of the best passing attacks in the country. You saw what Alabama did. You see what Ole Miss is doing down in Oxford. You see Mississippi State with the air raid. LSU had one of the best passing attacks till Miles Brennan went down. You're going to have to be able to stop the pass. And so the DBs are a huge need. And plus, if he goes to Georgia, this could give the Bulldogs one of the best 1-2 DB duos in the country. And five-star Keely Ringo stepping up along with Kendrick on the other side. It could be two shutdown, elite, athletic, long corners. And an interesting tidbit here, Georgia plays Clemson opening weekend of 2021. So that would be a huge game, already a revenge game, your first game after you transfer. Other potential schools from 247 have potentially made contact with Kendrick. Is Alabama, TCU, and Texas. All three are in need of a corner. Patrick Surtain out for Alabama could be a nasty, nasty duo with Malachi Moore, with Kendrick, with Josh Jobe, all those guys out there in Alabama. TCU would be a huge one, especially when you got to compete with passing attacks now with Sarkisian down in Texas. You've got to compete with Spencer Rattler, Brock Purdy, Skylar Thompson at Kansas State. Then, of course, Texas. Why not go ahead and get you a DB? Sark understands that Texas's defense has been a weakness at times. Why not go ahead and get you an immediate contributor shutdown corner out there on the boundary? But guys, we'll keep y'all updated on Kendrick's recruitment and where he might end up to continue his college career. But that's a wrap on March 10th, 2021, man, the 2-minute drill. We're going to be back later this week with some more Big Ten in 31 days episodes. So make sure to tune in there. We got Penn State, we got Michigan State, we got some other big schools lined up. We also, Sunday night, man, we're probably going to live stream it. It'll be up on our YouTube, Twitter, everything. It'll be available on all audio platforms next Monday. Me and Brandon sitting down doing our first mock draft of the year. We'll get it out there before free agency starts. We'll do another one right before the draft. So come check out our mock draft with us. Come let us know in the comments live what y'all think. What are y'all's opinion on what these teams need and everything? So make sure to tune in for that. So to do that, go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on your post notifications at the top right, and go ahead, subscribe everything to anywhere you listen to the Blue Bloods, man. Go ahead and like this video right now and go check out some of our previous content, man. We appreciate all y'all support. We also finally got a TikTok, guys. I know I gave in. Brandon was a little iffy. We were all kind of iffy on this, but our TikTok is at the Blue Bloods CFB. Go follow. Clips of a bunch of episodes are going up now, so make sure to go ahead and check us out there. All our other social media scrolling across the bottom, but we appreciate y'all. But for myself, for the Blue Bloods, for right now, we are out.